Cool. I'm excited.
Good. I'm very pleased to be here on My Magical Thing with the lovely Reverend Danny Nemu, author, speaker, magician, hypnotherapist, political activist, with particular interests in things like ayahuasca, drugs in the Bible, and many other things. A true Renaissance man. Danny, it's lovely to have you here, man.
Hi, Julian. Good to see you.
Danny, please may we see your magical thing?
Yes. Here's my magical thing. It's actually a whole chain of magical things, and I'm quite excited about it. So I'm going to put it on. It's a heavy thing to wear.
Whoa!
So there's my magical thing.
Got it. Tell us about the thing.
So a magical thing. Well, as you can see, it's a rosary made out of keys, and I've been trying to make this for a long time. And I got really into keys. Keys are very exciting because, as you know, keys open doors and keys also lock doors. And I started collecting keys when I found them on the street, not in people's pockets, obviously. But you find a lot of keys on the street, and like anything, if you start paying attention to them, they start paying attention to you, and they start becoming meaningful. And so I was going through my life collecting keys, and I hadn't really started using them in magic beyond just collecting them. Actually, I collect cards as well. I don't know if you can see a lot of on my altar top. I've got a whole load of found cards as well. So I've got hundreds of these things. Anyway, so I was happily collecting my keys, and I was always happy when I saw a key. And one day I counted my keys, and I only had 33 keys. And obviously, to make a rosary, you need about 55 or something like that. And I've been doing this for years. I walked past, I saw a key on the floor, and unlike my normal, oh wow, I found a key, I thought, oh, I found a key, but I'm never going to get my rosary. But I picked it up anyway, and as I picked it up, and I thought to myself, yes, you are, you're going to get your rosary. And at that time, I was studying hypnosis off in kind of up there near Uxbridge or something. And the next day, I went to go and study, and on the way back, the train went past Acton Town. I've got a friend at Acton Town, I hadn't seen him for ages. So I decided to jump out the tube and go and see how he was doing, and dropped in on him, and he had a broken key on his shelf, and I said, oh, that's a key, can I have this key? And he said, no, I need it because I'm going to use it to get through doors. What do you need keys for? And I said, well, I'm collecting keys so I can make a rosary out of keys. And he said, oh, that's interesting, I just threw away a whole stack of keys yesterday, and this guy had and he had 77 keys, but around 77 keys, which he collected from his house and other people's houses, and just for whatever reason he had all these keys. He chucked them away the day before, and I ended up with all of these keys and more, so many more that I actually took well, here's a bunch more keys. When I went to a culture, I did a ritual there, overthrowing the Hierophant, who is obviously of the cross keys, and the thing involved actually putting a Hierophant's hat on a Hierophant, obviously, and we all threw. I conducted this ritual where what we did was we imagined what our vision of the new world would be like, and we put it onto bits of paper, and then these bits of paper were scrunched into balls, and they were thrown at the Hierophant to knock his hat off. He had the hat of infinite growth on, and he was also holding keys, and when the hat came off, he dropped his keys, and then everyone was scrabbling for their keys. They were also shouting, give me the keys, in their various languages. But I was very pleased to hear later from various people who picked up their keys about how they'd helped them. One I got news back that one had used the key to find themselves a new house. They're now in their dream house. One guy didn't manage to attend the ritual and asked me to send on some keys. And I made it very clear, actually, during the ritual and afterwards, these are keys of disruption. They're not to be held on to. And this guy foolishly held on to them. And at first his mobile died, and then his car died. Yeah, keys, don't mess with key magic, really. One of the keys went in the ground in Parliament Square just before Extinction Rebellion started as well. So all kinds of things going on with these keys. I'll tell you one more thing about keys. Actually, I had a. Well, you see what I've got. I'm very excited about this. Look, because I've got all kinds of different keys. This great big. I keep adding things to my rosary. Right, this one here was actually in the garden for a whole bunch of months, and we hadn't seen it. We moved into a new house, and one particular day I was walking along, and I was trying to work out what the occult import of me getting my computer nicked was. Right, because someone came in the door because I hadn't locked the door. keys all over the place, obviously. And someone nicked my computer, and I was thinking about this. And on the day, in fact, about 5 seconds after I clicked, oh, I'd promised something to someone, I hadn't given it to her. This is a goddess, obviously. And I walked, and immediately at that moment, I saw this, which had been sitting in the garden for ages, this thing. So things get added. Someone gave me that one. This is obviously a key of another description there, which is a kind of universal, what do you call it, computer key thing. Yeah, so it's a kind of, look, I've even got one there, which has got like got a code on it. I had a tarot reading quite recently with Butterfly Tarot, a woman called Beryl. And one of the images that she saw was a little girl carrying a key, or carrying a necklace with a key on it. And I understood the rest of the reading, but I just didn't understand this at all. And then the very following morning, I got another key through the post that my daughter had sent me, blessed and made out to. That's for Hecate here. So yeah, these keys follow me around and pop up in interesting places. So if you find a key, or if anyone finds a key, they're really good to put into the underworld in some way. You can either drop them through drains, you can fling them into the sea, you can do all kinds of things with them.
Danny, that's fantastic. Thank you for introducing us to the magical keys, I guess, of Hecate. It reminds me of things like the Key of Solomon. Of course, in passing, it reminds me of that fantastic moment en route to Berlin, where someone was going through your stuff at security and they went, "Excuse me, sir, what's all this?" And you have to say, "Oh, it's a magical rosary of keys. What does it look like?" And they were kind of, "Okay, we'll let this one go. Fantastic. Have a nice journey."
Yeah. The Hecate thing is interesting. We found during lockdown, I was exploring the local area, and I found a tree, sycamore tree, which had grown through a bicycle lock. Basically, someone had locked a bike lock around it, and it had kind of grown through and overtaken this thing. And the day I found that was a day that I decided to go and start clearing out this little stream, which is just around the kind of side of my house here. So I like to do that as a kind of sacrifice, really. I think back in the day you might have taken your god something, but now I'd like to take some litter away. So off we went, and I was carrying some stuff out of there, and I found a greenhouse. And on the same day that I was looking for a greenhouse, which was great. We just mentioned to my wife that we need a greenhouse, and so I found one. And then on the way back, I also found this this bike lock going through this tree, and it was around Easter, just before Easter actually. And off I went to that particular tree. Probably about a day later, I think it was Maundy Thursday. And as I was there, this incantation came into my head, and the incantation went like this. It went, "May that which should break be broken, and with this cup, this token, and with these words here spoken, may my spirit fly free, awoken." I was carrying a cup, and I was carrying a key at the time, and I put them on this tree. And as I said this was cool. This stick here fell out of the sky. As that's what I was talking about, let that which should break be broken. And it fell out of the sky. And I really liked that. And I kept it. And I particularly liked it because it was the same day that I'd drawn the 2 of Wands, right, for the day's rituals. And it was the second time which a stick had fallen out of a tree whilst I was on a magical mission. The other one, which is that stick there, and you can see how I arranged them according to the 2 of Wands in the Thoth deck. So the first one was when I went off to, what was I doing? I was offering some things to a series of goddesses. In fact, it was that when I found, this is all very, very convoluted, but when I found that, it was because I remembered that one of the things that I'd offered I hadn't given. But anyway, when I first went to go and offer these things to the goddess is, on the way I had to go I was going through this little bit of forest down to a gill, which is a little waterfall thing. And I went over a bridge, and when I got to the bridge, I put my little Eshu idol at the edge of the bridge, at the start of the bridge, and I crossed it over. And as I was crossing, this wand fell out of the sky. So I dropped down to go and see it. And when I went into the river there, I also found this. So I've got a load of magical things. I also found a comb, and obviously the goddess that I was going after was Oshun, and Oshun, or one of them. And Oshun is the is of Sweet Waters, which is the river that the stick fell into, and one of her objects is the hairbrush, and I found a manky old comb as well.
Danny, that's fantastic. Thank you very much for that little insight into the key to some of your magic found and discovered in the place that you live. Oh man, it's really lovely to see you. And yeah, thanks for sharing those with us. That's brilliant.
Thank you. That was a load of fun, Julian.
All right.
Take care. Bye.